welcome to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce, and it's time for a little NBA basketball. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Miami Heat. And now time to hand things over to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. I'll be back at halftime.
And the players exchanging a few friendly words prior to tip-off. Getting to know you. A quick check now at the starting lineups for both teams. First for the Spurs, Parker and Danny Green are your 1 and your 2. And in the middle, out of Brazil, taken with the 28th pick back in 2008, the 6'11" pivot man, Thiago Splitter. Then there's Kawhi Leonard, and it's Duncan in at the power forward position. Chalmers and D-Wade are the guards. And playing at the 5, the always versatile 6'11" star big man, able to score inside and out, Chris Bosh. And it's LeBron James, and it's Haslem in at the 4 slot.
Well, Miami stormed through the regular season and were viewed as the clear-cut favorites to come out of the East, but it was not as easy as expected. After sweeping Milwaukee, the Bulls gave them a scare, then the Pacers really took them deep, all the way to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Ball's knocked loose. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And that'll be San Antonio as it goes out of bounds. Spurs retain possession. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, Greg Popovich and I got a chance to talk for a bit. We talked about Chris Bosh, and he talked about the skill set and what makes him so difficult to guard. He told me he's very slippery in the post. You think you have him contained, and he'll just wiggle around his guy for a layup. We can never act as if he has nowhere to go down low. He finds space and room all the time. Guys?
Thanks, Doris. And for the Heat, the Pacers were their first real test, it seemed, and they had to survive a win or go home against them. It almost seemed, Clark, to take away any momentum they might have had when they went up against the Spurs in the finals.
You know, it's interesting. When I think of momentum in the playoffs, it doesn't carry over from game to game or series to series. I think each game, Kevin, is really an entity in and of itself. That said, Miami found a way, despite being pushed by the Pacers and being pushed by the Spurs, both to Game 7. It came down to LeBron James's brilliance, but also the hot shooting of a complimentary road frame winner, Shane Battier.
Well, it's an almost impossible task guarding him. He's so strong and quick. LeBron is like a locomotive bearing down. You see why teams have to give hard fouls to stop him, because a little bit of contact just is not going to be enough to stop him.
Hey, Steve. What a throwdown there. Man. And this sort of awesome dunk is one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game right now.
Clark, there is a swagger out here on the court that they possess and are not afraid to show it either.
That's right.
Those are phenomenal dunks to watch. So much fun. And what an amazing run it was for the Spurs last year in the postseason. They swept the Lakers, survived Golden State, and then dismantled.
Ridiculous move. Tore it down that time. Another basket here, and they have really come out of the gates fast in the first quarter, Kevin.
On defense, Miami. There's the dish to Parker. Tipped away. And it's out of bounds. The Spurs able to retain possession here.
Well, really the heart and soul of this Miami team in a lot of ways, Udonis Haslem. Born and raised in Miami. He's played his entire decade-long career with the Heat, and just a tough, hard-working guy and a locker room leader.
Here's Parker. LeBron with the block. Here's Chalmers. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Chalmers has got his first bucket in this one.
They really look sharp here. Razor sharp. Extremely focused.
And back to Haslem. He helped lift the Florida Gators program back to prominence. Took them all the way to the NCAA championship game, playing at center of all positions.
But was really heavy back then at Florida. He had to lose a lot of weight before he was ready to play in the NBA. Went to Europe to play first. He's been the heart and soul of the Heat organization ever since.
The drive by Green. That's good.
That's a big basket. You don't want to let the game get away from you right off the bat.
First quarter of ball, almost 2.5 minutes in. LeBron against Leonard. The 17-footer. And another basket for Miami.
Well, they've settled into their offense very quickly here today.
Yeah, they're zoned in, making the most out of their possessions here.
And stolen by Chalmers. Ahead. And the dunk by LeBron. And breaking down some numbers here, the hustle stats for the Heat.
Well, I think the defensive aggressiveness on display here has caught them off guard. Playing airtight defense and coming up with the steal.
And they're getting out in transition, too, finding some easy points on the fast break.
And here in the first, about 3 minutes in. And stolen by Chalmers. And the layup is good. Chalmers has got his second basket.
Huge advantage for them already.
And as well as they've played at both ends so far, this lead might continue to grow.
Feeds to Parker. Back to Green. Stolen by Wade. And now the fast break. LeBron with the ball. That falls. Nice feed that time from Dwayne Wade. And that's 15 points for LeBron. And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back.
The number of turnovers they've committed, it's no wonder they're in the position they're in right now.
Yeah, but it's still early, guys. They just need to be a little more disciplined at that end of the floor.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Matt Bottle, who's checked in for Splitter. Diallo comes in for Tim Duncan. And it's Ginobili in for Daniel Green. For San Antonio, they've gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. And Diallo kicks to Parker. Knocks it loose. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Wade, he's covered by Ginobili.
Their offense has really come together immediately, threatening to run away with this game.
It's hard to imagine they'll be able to stay as hot as they've been so far, but if they can, watch out.
Here comes Tony Parker. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. Ginobili up top. Will it go? Bosh grabs the miss. Miami's gone 2 of 2 from three-point range here in the first quarter. Haslam, he's covered by Ginobili. Shot from the top of the key. And again, it's Dwayne Wade. Wade's got 9.
They're really struggling defensively, giving up too many easy buckets.
And they've been on fire offensively as a result, Clark.
Only 3 teams in the entire Eastern Conference had a better than 500 record against the West, and no surprise the Heat were one of those 3, and they were dominant against Western Conference opponents all year long.
Here's Ginobili, and he goes strong with the one-handed jam. And that's how you exploit a gap in the D, I guess, huh?
Yes, sir. No soft finish there. Major power.
Wow. He knows an opportunity for the highlight reel when he sees one.
They're making this a runaway.
Now, the only question now is how big will this lead eventually become? I mean, this is a blowout.
Three-pointer, Wade gets it to go. He's got trouble. Mark, adding on to what you were saying about the Heat versus the West, they ended up 25-5, which is incredible, Steve, given how many tough teams that are in the Western Conference.
That's amazing, Kevin. They had a better record against the West than they did against the East in terms of their winning percentage. So I think that speaks to just how motivated Miami was when they went out on the road to the West in particular to really show everybody how good they were. And the early lead just keeps on growing. Another basket.
And the way they've done it is with an extremely potent inside attack.
Here's Parker. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. Pass to Wade. And it is flushed down with a nice jam.
Beautiful work in the transition game.
That's how to do it. Attack early before the defense can get itself set.
And out of bounds as the Heat gain possession. San Antonio making a switch here. 11 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. LeBron outside. Three-pointer. Dwayne Wade, and that's good. Wade's got 17 now. with the end of the first quarter. And what a blowout already in this one. Miami ahead, running away with this one. And the... Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start this second quarter. And for the Heat here, they've been putting on a show, guys.
And it's been beautiful basketball to watch, guys. Really sharing and moving the ball. And as a result, they've got a great flow going.
Hand in glove, 5 guys working as one. The power of the fist, we call it. They've racked up a bunch of assists.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, gentlemen, despite what you might have heard from the talking heads, it was another great season for D-Wade. Last season, leading all shooting guards in player efficiency rating. A natural slasher, he's adjusted brilliantly to playing without the ball in his hands. Coach Eric Spoelstra said, quote, the evolution of his game has been stark in terms of added weapons and dimensions over the years. His development in that post-up game has allowed that to happen. His movement and cutting off the ball tripled what it used to be. That took an understanding and an IQ of how to get involved when the ball wasn't in his hands. Guys, the great ones always find a way.
They definitely do. Thanks, Doris. And it's good. Caught through contact, hits the shot, and go to the free throw line.
Boy, they are just destroying them in the paint.
You could say that again, Steve. The defenders just aren't aggressive enough down low.
Chris Anderson is checked in for the Heat.
You know, last year, LeBron said that he was at his peak as a player, both physically and spiritually. You could see it in his eyes, just so confident. Even when things aren't going well, he now has the fortitude to make his way through that and continue to play and finish the game.
And that one's good. Anderson's got his first points of the game. Now here's Parker. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. LeBron passes to Anderson. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. Well, when you think about the level that LeBron is playing at right now, Clark, do you think he still has room to improve his game?
I think it's just a matter of his experience and picking and choosing his spots. I think his skill set is fantastic, and it's just a matter of staying the course. I don't see much improvement there. He's a terrific shooter from the 3 and inside the line. He drives it, makes his free throws, passes the ball, rebounds, defends. He wants to be in that 50, 40, 90 club on his shooting percentages, and I think he'll make it happen.
I know he's still working with Ray Allen on the free throw shooting, too.
Yeah.
Parker up top, defended by Cole. Ginobili against LeBron. Knocked loose, stolen by Allen. And here we go, fast break. Betty's got it. And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
Looked like some miscommunication there offensively. Those guys were not on the same page.
And the Spurs making a change here. Green's checked in.
You know, the Spurs really have a cohesive culture, and part of that is something that Greg Popovich has been able to do, and that's being able to join guys together that normally might not hang out. For instance, you had Matt Bonner taking Steven Jackson out to a Coldplay concert last season. One way to help guys get to know each other off the court, and it helps them on the court.
Well, it seems like when they've gone to him, he's really come through. And that's not something we should get away from.
This is it to Parker. Into Tim Duncan. Cole with the rebound. But back to Popovich and the Spurs, he really makes a point of getting to know his players and have them get to know one another.
That's right, Kevin. He likes to have his players have a sense of perspective about the world. He wants them to know that there are other things going on besides the NBA. In fact, back in 2012, he had the players watching the presidential debates together. Wow, they are just red hot, guys, not missing a thing.
Sometimes you see a player get on a tear like this, Steve, but never an entire team.
Here's LeBron.
Oh, get it! Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
Yeah, it feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
That's good. LeBron's got 10 points in the quarter.
Some defensive breakdowns are starting to show up now. Their last 4 buckets allowed have come from very close range.
And giving up these easy chances is going to do wonders for their confidence.
And Anderson slams it in.
Well, this is how you completely rattle an opponent's rhythm.
Yeah, you know, such terrific on-the-ball defense to trigger the transition opportunity.
And it wasn't just the tough D, it was the exclamation point they put on the fast break with the slam.
Parker kicks to Bellinelli. 6 on the shot clock. Stolen by Allen. And now here comes Cole, leading the break, and the best it could.
They're scoring well. They're really executing and building on this lead.
Gradually adding to the lead. I like it. I mean, they continue to work well offensively. They should be in good shape going forward.
San Antonio making a switch here. Leonard's checked in.
Well, what a series it was in the finals a year ago. Such great basketball. Two teams that like to play up tempo. And I'll tell you, the Spurs had Miami. They had the series in the bag. They were one play away from wrapping it up in Game 6. But the miracle comeback from the Heat that led to the Game 7 victory and another title for the Miami Heat.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Gentlemen, last year, Greg Popovich received a $250,000 fine from the league for sitting out his starters in that game against Miami. They cracked down, but it wasn't the first time he'd rested his top players on a back-to-back. Pop explained the philosophy this way, saying, quote, "We're making a wiser decision and not a macho decision. It's about health and safety of players so that we have a shot at the end of the year. If I was taking my son or daughter to the game, I'd be disappointed. So I understand that perspective. Hopefully, they'll understand my perspective. My priority is the basketball team and what is best for it. Guys, it's always a balancing act."
It certainly is. Thank you, Doris. Boris Diaz checked in for San Antonio. Clark, it was interesting because the games themselves weren't particularly close through the first half of the series, but things started to get really tight when they left San Antonio after Game 5.
How about that, Kevin? You talk about things tightening up. We had a game for the ages in Game 6. 28.6 seconds to go. The Spurs +5. Miami needed a miracle, and they found it in the form of timely three-point shooting and got some help from the San Antonio Spurs missing some free throws.
The Game 6 was about as intense an NBA game as you'll ever see.
Oh, it was off the chart. Absolutely fantastic.
Poke loose. Here's LeBron. The fast break ends at the rim with a jam.
Well, they're winning the speed game, guys, getting out in transition.
Boy, I like the energy they play with offensively, and in the open court, tremendous flow.
And through one half, it hasn't even been close. It's the Heat running away with it. We'll have the start of the third quarter for you shortly. But first, it's the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Damon Bruce here. Welcome to halftime. So far, a lopsided game out at American Airlines Arena. Miami up on top against San Antonio. And if you like scoring, you love their first half of basketball. They're putting up points, doing it rapidly, in a variety of ways. It's hard to slow them down. For LeBron, it's been way too easy against the Spurs D. His shooting percentage off the charts right now. He's got the magic touch from the field, no question about it. Now for the Spurs, not looking as good so far. Too many turnovers, tough to win when you're giving the ball away as easily as they have. They need to start playing smarter basketball in the second half. A tough start for Tony Parker. Turnovers have been an issue, almost beyond belief. I wonder which team he's playing for. That'll be all for this episode. It's in the books. I'm all done reading. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the second half.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first two quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback.
An excellent game we've seen from LeBron. He's got 30 points, and he's knocked down a pair of three-pointers in this game, too.
Well, they might want to think about setting a few more screens for him to try to give him another open look or two.
Splitter, and it's good on the assist by Parker. Parker's got 3 assists in the game.
You know, Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra worked his way up from the very bottom in that organization. I mean, he got his start as a video coordinator, and through years of hard work and dedication, has really become an outstanding coach.
Splitter dishes to Green. Kicks it to Parker. And that one's good.
I love when he takes the ball inside. That's when he seems to really get on a roll.
Miami's gotten on a roll from three-point land. They've been flawless. 6 for 6 tonight. LeBron against Leonard. Here's Bosh. And he finishes it off with a one-handed jam.
Good ball movement. You put that pass in the ideal spot, right where it needed to be.
And for those of you tuning in, we're about a minute into the second half. And back to Coach Eric Spoelstra as a guy who got his start as a video coordinator, picking the game apart. Steve, he's very comfortable with the new advanced stat movement, analytics in the NBA.
Yeah, and I got a chance to speak with him quite a bit. He says that the way they use advanced stats is just as a conversation piece in the coaching room. Their analytics department will bring them various information, and it will force them to ask questions, which is very healthy for a coaching staff to do.
Outside, Green. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
Boy, this is a neat story, guys. Danny Green was undrafted out of North Carolina. And another nice find for perhaps the best organization in all of sports, the San Antonio Spurs. He's an excellent three-point shooter, over 40% from three-point range for his career. He helps that team spread the floor, and that energizes their high-powered offense.
And both free throws good for Green. And Green, nice versatility, too. Not just an outside shooter.
No, he's an excellent defensive player. In fact, Greg Popovich calls upon him to often guard the opponent's best wing player. So for Green, a two-way player, a guy who can get it done at both ends of the floor. That's pretty much been the norm for them. Getting their points off assists and great ball movement.
Nice rhythm and flow for this team. Tremendous communication and alertness.
And Wade slams it in.
Impressive play there, and they have been really good offensively.
Piling up the points en route to this big lead, guys. I mean, they've been unstoppable. And as you might expect for the team with the second-best record in the West, the Spurs dominated the East last season, played each team twice for a total of 30 games, and went 25-5 in that stretch.
Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Tim Duncan. And Clark, back to what you said about the Spurs in the East, it was far and away the best record against the conference, Steve, for a team in the West.
Yeah, the second best record was Memphis with 22 wins. So kind of scary to think that they rested their big stars a few times against teams in the East, and they were still able to put up that kind of a record.
Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. LeBron passes to Chalmers. LeBron kicks to Wade. Double team on Wade. Chalmers. Bosch defended by Splitter. Here's the three. That's good. And that's now 38 points for LeBron.
This is outrageous. Every shot they're taking right now seems to be finding the mark.
Literally. Hammer time. Hammer time.
Nasty. Absolutely filthy.
And the building is stunned, partner. He dug deep into his bag of tricks there.
I hope he keeps that one handy. I want to see that again.
Haslam, that's good. Haslam's got 5 points now this quarter.
Defensively, I think they've got to do a better job of bodying them up.
Yeah, they're getting outclassed in the paint at both ends, really.
Here's Parker, and it's sent back by Chalmers.
Ouch. Another miss to add to what's been a miserable.
Big time finish. Emphatic.
He hangs on the rim, too, just for good measure.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little showboating out there.
There's the bucket. Good. Chalmers has got 8 points.
You know, of the last 6 baskets, 5 have come on the interior. This is major smash mouth basketball, guys.
Love it. Old school. Just physical play in the paint. Dominate.
And finished off by LeBron.
And the defense paying instant dividends. Fast break basket.
Yeah, that transition was immediate. Didn't waste a second getting out on the break.
And Parker, here we go. And the shot is good.
Well, I tell you what, Greg Popovich, a really impressive leader for the Spurs. He's able to keep all of his players locked into what's best for the team. Has a military background, played basketball and studied at the Air Force Academy before serving 5 years in the Air Force. And you know some of the leadership that he brings to his position was learned from his past experiences.
Miami's gone 2 of 2 from long range in the third quarter so far. Here's Chalmers, and that one off the back of the rim and in. Chalmers has got 10 points in the game.
They've had the hotter hand in the first half so far, no question.
Yeah, it's because of all the high percentage shots they've been working for and getting.
It's stolen by Wade. And the layup is good after a nice lead pass. Wade's got 10 points in just the second half. And an important part of every team's game, a look at the hustle stats for the Heat.
Boy, defensively, they've played with a high energy level, guys, and all the steals we've seen, really a result of that aggressiveness.
They've been firing on all cylinders in the transition game, too. I mean, they've really run the break well.
And Clark, you mentioned Pop's time at the Air Force Academy. That's where he got his start in the coaching ranks.
Yeah, 6 years as an assistant there. He was head coach at Pomona, an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors and the Spurs, and eventually moved into the front office in San Antonio. But wow, what an amazing run it's been for him. 17 years as the head coach of the Spurs.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
Boy, extremely opportunistic defense leading to those points there.
That dunk, Clark, coming within seconds of the steal.
Love the way they convert from defense to offense.
But that's what happens when you get all 5 guys on a string defensively ready to react and make a play.
Boris Diaw, Manu Ginobili, Marco Bellinelli.
Ginobili with the ball. Off the mark. And as we conclude the third quarter, pretty much a blowout. It's been a one-sided affair. Heat out front, just dominating this one. And do not go away, as we'll be back in just a few moments with the start of our fourth quarter coming up next. And we welcome you back to start the quarter. Players had a chance to get hydrated with Gatorade. And there's certain to be some great basketball ahead for us. Miami with the ball. Chalmers dishes to Oden. Back to Chalmers. And there's the pass to Wade. Double team on Wade. Gives him the lead pass. Lock at 6. From deep three-point range.
Well, he struggled a little bit in the second half, but remember, he hit 3 of those in the first half.
Mills with it. Now guarded by Mario Chalmers. Mills. Rebounded by Oden. Miami with the ball. He feeds it to Chalmers. Lewis outside. Lets it go. And he drops that one in. Lewis has got the fourth quarter going with the first basket of the period here for the Heat. Spurs shooting around 41% on the night. Back to Ginobili. The finger roll finish at the bucket.
Boy, the drive to the bucket was nice, but how about the finger roll finish? Beautiful.
And it's Wade penetrating. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Wade's got 12 points in just the second half. Knocked away. Stolen by Lewis. In transition, here comes Miami. Wade with the ball. Shrugs off the contact and dunks it. They'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, nice fast break from start to finish, guys.
Especially on the back end. I mean, he polished it off perfectly.
And some changes here for the Heat. Chris Anderson is checked in for Haslem. Allen comes in for Dwayne Wade. And it's Norris Cole in for Mario Chalmers.
You know, one of the things about the Heat since the Big Three has come together is that they've been able to find the right kinds of veteran players to step in and fill specific roles for this team as they've won a couple of championships now.
Gets it to go.
What an excellent performance from the field for him.
Spurs have gone 2 of 3 from the field to get the fourth quarter started. And the official signaled the backcourt violation. Not very careful there.
Wow, just a total loss of concentration right there.
Well, those kinds of mistakes in this game is in danger of getting away from it.
And the Spurs making a change here. Leonard's checked in. Cole, the pass to Allen. Lewis, he's covered by Leonard. Allen for 3, and the shot is good. And it's easy to have players want to join the Heat when they're competing for an NBA title every season. But, Steve, even then, they find the ones that most fit their offensive and defensive philosophy, and that's when they're going to come up big for them.
Yeah, for sure. This team has done such a good job putting together this roster around LeBron and Wade. You think about Birdman in the playoffs last year. You know, Battier coming in here as a stretch four. They've just found the right players and the right mix, and that's one of the big reasons why this team is back-to-back NBA champs.
I tell you what, that's just a major unforced error right there, guys. My goodness.
Shane Battier is checked in for Greg Oden. And over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. Battier outside. Battier right side. Again, the Heat good for two.
This is outrageous. Every shot they're taking right now seems to be finding the mark.
Literally every shot. They are absolutely rolling.
And that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession.
That was an awfully risky pass, guys. Lucky it didn't wind up as a steal.
Well, it nearly did wind up as a steal, but no harm done in the end. They hang on to possession.
Third minute of action now gone here in the fourth. Now, here's Diaw. D right on him. Clock at 4. Leonard. Fade away. And that one hits back iron.
Nobody anywhere close to him. Where's the defense? He's got to make that shot, though.
Well, that was a dynamic two-hand dunk there.
Right in the face of the defender.
That was a tough, gritty finish.
And Mills gets to Leonard. Good.
They're shooting it quite well now. Again, function of shot selection, ball movement. Guys are in rhythm, confident, free-flowing, and they're knocking down their shots.
And Cole kicks to Lewis. Allen dishes to Lewis. Allen Elliott covering. Shot from the wing. The Heat rebound. Kicks it out to Allen. Fires from deep. And again, Miami with the triple.
And another three-pointer to their second half total.
Yeah, they caught that long-range bug at halftime, and it's been bombs away ever since.
He kicks it to Bellinelli. No good on the triple. Miami's gone 2 of 3 in the fourth quarter from long range. Good shooting so far. Cole's shot is good.
They're relying on their three-point shooting and getting pretty good results right now.
Yeah, in fact, 3 of the last 5 makes are from beyond the arc.
Diaw, the pass to Mills. Leonard on the wing. No good off the front iron.
Well, I think he had all the space he needed. He just couldn't find the bottom of the net.
Inside, tipped. Lewis dishes to Allen. Heat moving the ball around. Here's Anderson, and that one is stuffed right through.
Well, that puts the nail in the coffin.
A clinic in terms of how to play with the lead right there.
Leonard attacking. Count that one. Leonard's got 4 this quarter.
One of the reasons they're behind is because we haven't seen enough of that. He needs to become a bigger part of the offense.
Lewis kicks to Cole. Battier defended by Bonner. Allen for the 3. And again, Miami with the triple.
They are wreaking havoc on him with the three-point shot here.
Lazy perimeter defense, Clark. You got to take the shooter's airspace away from him.
No problems knocking that one down.
This run probably just a case of too little too late.
But at least they're still going after it and playing hard. It would have been very easy to throw in the towel a while ago.
Here's Battier. And another basket for Miami.
Well, if it wasn't already out of reach, it is now thanks to this spurt.
Just keep on firing, man. No reason to slow down now.
That's going to be over and back. Not watching for the line that time.
Boneheaded play, guys. Plain and simple.
Yep, brain fade is what I like to call it. There's no way they're getting out of the hole making mistakes like that.
Nando De Colo's checked in for San Antonio. Battier outside. Lets it go with the 3. And that one's good.
And what I like about him, he needs very little time to get his shot off. If he has just a bit of room, that's all it takes. In a catch-and-shoot situation, he's going to let it fly.
And I don't think you can look past what a fearless player he is, too, guys. I mean, just look at all the charges he takes.
Terrific job taking care of business in front of the home fans.
And, Steve, I thought those fans, those home fans, gave this team a big lift all game. A lot of positive energy in the building.
Leonard, no luck.
I thought he rushed it a little bit, guys, because he had a clean look, just lost his focus.
Rejected by Diaw. That's tipped. And so Miami takes this one by a big margin. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night. These guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dreamlike games for a coach.
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan, along with our 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game.
We make it cool to be something. We make it cool to be something. We make it cool to be something. We make it
just because I'm losing doesn't mean I'm lost.
We're just about 2 minutes into the first quarter.
Well, a coaching carousel for the Lakers last season. They made it only 5 games before firing Mike Brown, and they decided to go in a new direction. And, boy, they went through 3 different head coaches before all was said and done. They never really were able to gain that consistency they were looking for.
Doubled by Burke. Kobe. Burke's covering. Here's Flash. 12 points for him. Clock at 6. This one for 3. And that's good. Kobe Bryant for the triple. And back to the Lakers' struggles last season. What do you think, Clark, were the main problems that, held them back from being the kind of title contender that they thought they were and a lot of people imagined they were?
Well, how much time do I have? 3 or 4 shot clocks worth? I mean, I think there were a number of issues, as you might expect. Injuries played a significant role, but I think there was discord over how they should play, really no true identity. They were a big team trying to be small, a team without a number of shooters trying to spread the floor, older team trying to go up tempo, coaching change, and that transition.
Right, yes.
You had a lot of moving parts, and it made it very difficult for everybody, I think, and it showed in how the Lakers season went.
It's a good assessment. And again, Los Angeles with the triple. And breaking down some numbers here, the hustle stats for Los Angeles.
Boy, their frenetic defense has really been impressive, putting a lot of pressure on ball handlers and turning them over.
Another big aspect of their game tonight has been the fast break, transition opportunities. They're really keeping it up tempo so far.
Jazz trail by 15. Another steal. And it's the Lakers on the break. Goes up.
Well, we should keep an eye on him because normally he's good for 1 or 2 highlight reel dunks. I mean, this guy can absolutely fly.
And I know something else the fans love about him is the way he's capable of going straight over the top of a defender for some monster throwdowns. I mean, we're talking about posterization with capital letters.
Now here's Jefferson. 5 on the clock. Shot to stop the run. That one wide left. Los Angeles leading by 17.
Trey Burke, the National College Player of the Year at Michigan last season. He led the Wolverines in points, assists, steals, and blocks even. And, of course, led them all the way to the NCAA championship game. He's basically a winner. That's what he is.
Here's Burke after the made shot from Flash. They get a hand on it. Camden passes to Flash. Gets it to go. Flash has got 24 points.
He's finding all kinds of ways to get it done. What a quarter he's having.
And Burke declaring for the draft, Clark, after his sophomore season in Michigan.
Yeah, he was driven to be an outstanding player coming out of high school. A little under the radar as a high school player, but had a laser focus on developing and maximizing his ability. Spent 5 to 6 hours a day in the gym over the summers, and you've seen the fruit of that work.
So Utah ends up going with the new group. Jazz trailed by 21. Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Hey, Kevin. Well, Mike D'Antoni had a few minutes for me. Coach said that even though this is the first meeting of the year, he didn't expect there to be much of a feeling out period between the teams. He said, listen, we have a group of guys that can all score and do it in a hurry. I expect us to come right at them and test their defense early on. They'll definitely be on the attack, guys.
Appreciate the report, Doris. So, Steve and Clark, how does their offensive strategy fit into this matchup?
Well, I think they want to dictate the tempo, and that means really attacking the defense, getting out and running and moving the ball efficiently.
And with their style of play, Steve, the offense they run, I expect this game to be played on their terms. They're going to assert themselves and play it their way.
Now Kobe. Pau Gasol missing from long range. Here's Flash. Again, Los Angeles.
They've been hot here early, dropping them in left and right.
Let's see how long they can keep it going. This is quite a start.
And it's the Lakers on the break for the finish. And there's the rejection. Here's Rush, guarded by Kobe. 32 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. Here's Hayward. And nothing is falling for him right now. And pushing it up, here's Los Angeles. Here's Flash, defended by Lucas. And that one's good. And that's 28 points for Flash.
He is just tearing it up this quarter. That lead's not going anywhere while he's this high.
That's good.
Beautiful finger roll to cap that drive off. He knows how to finish with some flair and flavor, guys.
Back to Kobe. And will count. And he trains the three. But let's see, they may need to review it. I'm not sure the ball was out of his hand in time. And indeed, they're going to look at it again. They need to be certain he beat the buzzer.
And to me, it looks pretty clear on the instant replay, guys. The ball was out of his hands in time. I mean, they need to get this one right. It's a big situation here.
Yeah, I can't see how they'd come to any other conclusion, Clark. The camera gives us a good look at it. There's a tick or two left on the clock.
And the official call is in. It's ruled a basket. They're overturning the original call after looking at the replay.
And, Kevin, this is exactly why we have this rule. And I think they made a great decision putting the rule in. The main thing is you want to get it right. And they definitely got this one right looking at the replay.
We're at the end of the first quarter. And what a blowout already in this one. Lakers on top, opening up a huge gap. And will return shortly.
This Wednesday, November 6th, Chris Paul and the Los Angeles Clippers go up against Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. A Pacific Division battle. Don't miss out.
Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start the second quarter. And, guys, the Lakers enjoying a nice lead here.
And I like what they've done offensively, really attacking the rim, getting a lot of points in the paint.
And, guys, they've been the aggressor early. I mean, attacking the hoop and getting into the paint, that can make the game really easy for you.
And here is Burke.
You know, guys, even though the Jazz have been a team that's been over 500 for the last few years now, they've not been able to really make up any ground in that tough Western Conference, and part of it is because they lack a go-to scorer.
Just 5 to shoot. And it's out of bounds to the Jazz as Utah retains possession. And Clark, while we have a moment, let's show you the list of players who put up the most points last year. Third is Kobe Bryant.
Now, he never took a night off. I mean, it seemed like he was scoring big all season long. Just a terrific year for him.
2 on the clock. Favors. No good. And the Lakers will go the other way with it. But for the Jazz, they have the size and strength to compete with teams in the West the last few years. But since Deron Williams left, they have been searching for someone that can carry the offensive load late in games.
And that's exactly why they decided to trade on draft night for Trey Burke, the Michigan point guard. And, you know, when you don't have a player who can kind of set the offense up, it's really difficult to get your offense going. That's why they've been down ever since Williams left.
What a top-notch game he's having. He's gotten them in front, and it sure seems like he's going to keep them there. All by himself, it looks like.
Enes Kanter's checked in for Marvin Williams.
You know, there are a number of things that went wrong for the Lakers, and a lot of it led to them being a poor team on the road. They just didn't look like they were on the same page whenever they played away from Staples.
Here in the second quarter with a little over a minute gone. Here's Flash, defended by Burke. The step-back jumper is good. 35 points for Flash.
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
Back to the Lakers in their play on the road. It wasn't for their lack of scoring. They would put up just about as many on the road as they would at home. Steve, it's just that they wouldn't get the stops. The defense wasn't what they needed for road wins.
Well, if you're going to win on the road, Kevin, you have to get stops. And the Lakers didn't do that. And, you know, you think about this year without Dwight Howard now, that defense is only going to get worse. So I would look for the road to be a major issue this year for the Lakers.
Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Well, guys, Trey Burke was last season's College Player of the Year out of the University of Michigan. He may have been a little disappointed he wasn't picked by the nearby Detroit Pistons, but he was taken a pick later and eventually acquired by the Utah Jazz in exchange for their 14th and 21st picks. Burke said, "I just wanted to go somewhere where I had an opportunity to play right away and make an impact." Guys, he has that in Utah, on an organization that's been one of the most winning in NBA history.
A lot for a player his age to carry, but he seems like he's ready. Thanks, Doris.
You know, one of the things with Kobe is that he's gotten a lot more blunt and honest with his remarks. You see it on Twitter, you see it in his post-game interviews, and he is not shy when it comes to really critiquing other teams and players in this league.
Here's Flash, and again it's the Lakers from deep.
Well, offensively, he's taken a solid opening quarter and just built on it here in the second.
Picked his pocket. And pushing it up, here's Los Angeles. Nick Young on the wing. Pass to Flash. Back to Young. It's tipped. It's stolen by Jefferson. He dishes it to Favors. From 11 feet away. Rebounded by the Lakers. As you said with Kobe, he seems more comfortable saying what's ever on his mind now, and that's gotten him in some questionable situations, Clark, with his teammates.
Well, it is a gray area when you talk about, actually, there's a pretty strict policy on tweeting or engaging in social media during games. But you do like the fact that Kobe is stretching out a little bit in that regard. You don't always agree with what he says, but I think he backs up a lot of his opinion.
He knows the game.
Yes, he does.
The guy is as smart as they come on the floor.
No question.
He passes to Flash. That's in, coming off an assist by Kobe. Flash has got 44.
And they're getting their points now almost exclusively from the three-point line. That's 4 of the last 5. You got to run those guys off the line.
I agree, and the defense is practically giving them those shots, though.
He's playing with an edge here, playing extremely well offensively here in the second half.
For Utah, they've gone 2 of 6 in the field in the second quarter so far. 1:41 left in the first half. Knocks it loose. Gasol passes to Flash, and he uses the glass on the layup. Flash has got 48.
You know, offensively, his quarter has been perfect. Not a single missed shot. They got to keep riding him.
Here's Burke. The 18-footer is right on the mark. 1:11 left in the second quarter. Here's Flash. Burke's covering. Pass to Kobe. Flash. There's the dish to Gasol. Pass to Flash. And again, it's the Lakers from deep.
You know, the more these three-pointers continue to drop, the more you can sense the frustration coming from this defense.
No question. No matter what they've thrown at them, they've not been able to take that shot away.
And it's the Lakers on the break. The finish. Oh, look out. Wow.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
It feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
And he jams it with authority. He has a highlight reel unto himself, guys.
Yeah,
wow.
that could very well be a contender for Dunk of the Year and perhaps might make its way all over the internet.
I'm with you, Clark. That's a crowd pleaser if I've ever seen one.
Boy, the kind of moments you love to see. Excellent defense leading to a dunk at the other end.
Clark, you got to marvel at the transition game when they've got it clicking. It's really explosive.
High octane for sure.
Oof. Yeah, turning defensive pressure into offensive opportunities. That's what it's all about.
So Utah ends up going with the new group. He's got a clear path. Here's Kaman. Hammers it home to polish off the break.
Well, they're winning the speed game, guys, getting out in transition.
Boy, I like the energy they play with offensively, and in the open court, tremendous flow.
Here's Biedrins. Makes it off the glass.
There it is again. On a lot of their possessions this first half, they've established great position inside.
Yeah, getting the ball into the post should be their first option every time down. Force the defense to adapt and adjust.
A dominating first half of basketball, and so far hasn't been close. Los Angeles on top, running away with it. Well, folks, stay tuned for the halftime show with Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
It's the first game of the NBA season, but on the halftime report, we're already in mid-season form. The Lakers have been just all over the court. They'd like to get this season off to a good start today. Flash has been going at it effortlessly against the Jazz D. At the break, he's been a big scorer. He's racking up the points. He's been on target from everywhere, hitting his deep shots and picking up all his change on the free throw line. And for the Jazz, they've been struggling a bit. They've got to do a better job protecting the ball and valuing each possession. They've not done that. Their turnover number's way too high through two quarters. Trey Burke giving them a nice boost. He's picked up 4 points and is also sharing the ball, picking up assists as well. Now let's take off with some other games in progress around the league. A tightly contested game for the Celtics up against the Philadelphia 76ers. A close contest in the fourth. Looking now at some games that are already wrapped up. The Suns over at U.S. Airways Center losing to the Hawks. Came up short by just 3 points when it was all said and done. Caron Butler was their scoring leader. And another game that also finished up. New York came away with a win against the Timberwolves in Minnesota. Nice double-digit win for them. And their top scorer was Carmelo Anthony. And that'll wrap things up for me here in the studio. Second half is just around the corner. Thanks so much for stopping by.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters.
Talk about complete control. Everything working in this one for Flash. It's in a ridiculous number of steals. That's big-time production. He has over 50% of his team's points. Wow.
Well, it's just a pleasure watching him play when he's rolling like this.
Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, gentlemen, the Lakers barely squeezed into the playoffs last season. Despite that, they had the largest luxury tax bill in the league, almost $30 million, more than double the next highest team in the Miami Heat. So maybe one silver lining for them with Dwight Howard deciding to move to Houston? The team won't have to shoulder the even more punitive taxes that began this season. Kevin?
Good point, Doris. Thanks.
Well, you always hear about how loud this Jazz crowd is at home, and trust me, it is loud. They are a big part of why the Jazz have been so tough at home for so long, but the personnel of the Jazz has had something to do with that as well.
That's not as easy as it made it look, guys. You've got to have some skills to pull that baby off.
Well, he's got plenty of those skills necessary, partner.
Man.
Oh, you know it. The guy can climb the ladder, can't he?
Burks dishes to Burke. And as you said, the Jazz very tough at home as always, Clark, and 30 wins for them in this building last season, which usually, Steve, is enough to get you into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat. 30 home wins and you don't get in. It just shows you how difficult and how tough the Western Conference was.
Their prowess inside has been tremendous, guys. I mean, it's been no contest down on the low block.
And until they prove they can stop them, I mean, they ought to continue to pound it in low.
Out of bounds, the Lakers will take possession. And let's go to the 2K leaderboard to see the teams that blocked the most shots in the NBA last year. Fifth, the Jazz.
Yeah, so much of their defense revolved around their ability to block shots in the low post. That's why their numbers were so good last season.
Gets it to go. 65 points for Flash.
They've done a lot of good work with the ball, really moving both the ball and moving bodies, getting quality chances at the hoop.
And they're not wasting chances when they get them. I mean, they're hitting their shots.
And here comes the break. There's the triple. That is good. Flash has got 10 points in just the second half.
There's been a huge discrepancy between these teams and their effectiveness from the three-point line.
Yeah, and you really notice it at that end of the floor where they continue to get open looks and knock them down.
And it's out of bounds. The Jazz able to retain possession here. Marvin Williams is checked in for Utah. Oh, trying for it. And out of bounds as the Lakers gain possession.
And a look here at how the Lakers ranked in the NBA last season. 4th in rebounding, 6th in scoring. And they were a top 10 team in field goal shooting. Not bad for a team that's got an awful lot of young, talented players.
And this is a team that really relied most heavily on the rebounding numbers that you talked about. I mean, at top 5, they're a team that likes to attack the lane at both ends of the floor, really control the glass on defense and try to pound you inside with the offensive boards.
And they get it back. Shot clock at 5. And here's Kobe from the arc. And again, Los Angeles with the triple.
And of all the things about him that you like offensively, it's his composure that jumps out at me. The way he never gets rattled. The defense can get in him. He doesn't care. He just continues to do his thing.
And he's also a guy, Steve, whose confidence is not very easily shaken. That's an important quality to have. He'll miss a few shots in a row, but they're not going to cause him to doubt himself. Not in the least. Kaman gave up his old caveman look, guys, but he's still an intimidating presence in the post. Good size and strength and doesn't really get pushed around. Also excellent timing when it comes to shot blocking.
Now here's Burke. Tight defense on him. Here's Cantor. No good. And they can't put an end to this drought. The pass to Flash. We've gone about 3.5 minutes into the third now. That one goes. Count it. Flash has got 14 points now in the second half. And Chris Kaman skilled offensively. Ambidextrous, finishing inside, and a good mid-range shooter.
Yeah, I think he's really... Wow, that was unbelievable.
Look at that.
How about that?
Look at that.
Where's that hidden trampoline in the floor? The bounce this guy's got is ridiculous.
Maybe that is the explanation for the hang time.
Man, that was crazy. Just the artistry.
Williams, defended by Gasol. Gasol with the steal. Passes to Flash. Launches a 3. And again, Los Angeles with the triple. And let's get your guys' take now on the hustle stats for the Lakers.
Their activity at the defensive end, Kevin, has been really impressive. Attacking and coming away with steals.
They haven't wasted time getting the ball up the court tonight either, and it's resulted in a lot of fast break points. For the Jazz last season, it really became an issue about the log jam inside. They had 2 established starters in Jefferson and Millsap and 2 young up-and-comers in Cantor and Favors, and there was an expectation that somebody would be moved, but the trading deadline passed, and they were all still there.
And Williams, here we go, tipped away. And pushing it up, here's Los Angeles, and finished off by Kaman.
Well, they've played terrific basketball at both ends, and that's why this lead is totally out of control.
Really been an almost flawless game for them, Steve. No doubt about it.
Well, you would have thought that the Jazz would have made a deal one way or another, but it was hard for them as they were in the thick of a playoff race at the time, Steve, sort of tied their hands.
Well, if they weren't in that race, I think they might have sent 1 or 2 of those guys out to try to get some more assets for the future. As it was, they ended up losing Millsap and Al Jefferson, so it's incumbent on the young talent in that front court to now develop and really take over.
And pushing it up, here's Los Angeles.
Wow, they are just red hot, guys, not missing a thing.
Sometimes you see a player get on a tear like this, Steve, but never an entire team.
Jefferson kicks to Burke. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Back to Jefferson. The feed to Cantor. Nice ball movement by Utah. Shot clock at 6. Burke can't get it to go. Here's Flash, and he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a 3-point play.
Gotta love the finger roll up and over the defense.
And this is his 3rd trip to the line tonight. That free throw good from Flash. Here is Lucas. Will it go? He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. And as we conclude the 3rd quarter, pretty much a blowout. It's been a one-sided affair. Lakers ahead, just dominating this one. And we're just moments away from the start of the 4th quarter. Stay with us.
Tune in this Tuesday night, November 5th. Al Horford and the Atlanta Hawks go on the road to battle the Oklahoma City Thunder. Don't miss it.
And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the 4th. And here are the Lakers. Here's Flash. Kaman kicks to Gasol. Biedrins with the steal. Now here's Lucas. D right on him. The finger roll finish at the bucket. Lucas has got the first basket as we get going in the 4th for the Jazz. And out of bounds as the Jazz gain possession. Here's a look at what's coming up for the Utah Jazz. They're off to Denver after this game as they apply their skills at the Pepsi Center. And that one will start off a 3-game road trip for the team. Evans outside. Dishes to Hayward. Back to Evans. Kaman with the block. Pass to Flash. And John Lucas is going to pick up a foul. That is his first foul of the game.
And, you know, these calls can be some of the toughest in the game for the officials.
It all happened so fast, but I really think that was the right call. The defender was not really set in that situation.
Gobert, he's checked in for Utah. Here's Rush. Rebounded by the Lakers. Kobe's got his 3rd rebound tonight. This is their first chance to take a look at the Jazz.
And the season series between these two teams did not work out well for them last year, and that was costly.
They were both on the bubble fighting it out for the bottom seeds.
Those are the games you need to win. You got to win the games you're supposed to, especially coming down to the last month.
So crucial.
You know, last season, a lot of folks had the Lakers picked as the super team in the West, the team that would maybe challenge Miami and LeBron, but from the start, it just never was a cohesive group and really had one of the most disappointing seasons in the Lakers' history.
Here's Flash, defended by Lucas. That's good.
He's so reliable. And, you know, his offense seems to be consistently there for this team.
The Jazz have gone 2 of 4 from the field since we started the final quarter of play. Clark, as you said, the Lakers had a lot of lofty expectations put on them, but you never know what's going to happen when a team is put together. And Steve, they just couldn't reach that bar that was set so high for them.
Yeah, the expectations were so high, Kevin, but injury issues cost them all season long. Nash, Howard, Powell, and of course Kobe with the Achilles at the end of the year. And that unit only started 7 games all season together, so they never really were able to develop any chemistry.
That's blocked. The kick out to Young. Feeds it to Kobe. Another shot, and that's 2 points on the layup.
Boy, I tell you what, he's having one of those days where if he takes it, he makes it.
The Jazz shooting 43% from the field. Lucas the pass to Rush. Ball's knocked loose. Back to Lucas. Lots of room. And that one's good. Lakers have gotten 4 of their 6 shots to fall so far here in the fourth. A pretty nice efficiency there. Here's Kobe, and there's another one for the Lakers.
This is some kind of performance we're seeing from him today. He has yet to miss a shot.
He kicks it to Rush. Back to Lucas. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful.
No matter what they've tried, the D just has not been able to deny them the ball in the paint.
That's been so critical, Clark, because whenever they have gotten the ball into the paint, it's resulted in points, it seems like.
And now Utah, fast break. Lucas has got the ball, and Utah again with the bucket.
You know, when he gets rolling, guys, he can be an absolute handful to have to deal with. And right now, he is rolling strong.
And good on the basket. Book it. Flash has got 9 points now in the quarter.
They're forcing the ball inside, and it's working beautiful.
Yeah, the defense has been futile. They're 5 of the last 6 field goals in the lane.
The 3 ball. And again, Los Angeles with the triple.
Wow. What can you say?
Jazz have gone 5 of 8 shooting as we've come down the home stretch in this final quarter. Back to Evans. That's good. The Lakers have gone 7 of 9 from the field down the stretch here in the fourth quarter. Terrific shooting. Kobe goes in, lays it in without an inch of room around him. Kobe's got 11 in the second half.
And tack on a few more points to the lead. Why not? I suppose this is an emphatic showing for this club.
And, Steve, they did it in style, a beatdown the entire way.
Rudy Gobert out of France, 7-2 with a 9-7 standing reach. Think about that. You know, that size, it's like a toy hoop for him. He can just reach up and dunk it practically flat-footed. And, of course, a terrific shot blocker.
He misses the free throw. And Gobert, a bit of a project. Clark still needs to add some strength.
Yeah, he's around 235 lbs. He'll get pushed around at first, but he can run the floor, finishes over the top with his length, and he rebounded pretty well in Europe, so there's certainly some things to like there.
Here's what Utah's going with right now. Andres Biedrins is checked in for Jeremy Evans. And Marvin Williams subbed in for Gordon Hayward.
While never a lock for the playoffs, the Jazz were in the driver's seat for a playoff spot up until the All-Star break last season. However, after the second half kicked up again, they just couldn't beat the teams they needed to and lost a lot of ground, letting the Lakers back in the hunt.
Boy, he's putting up big numbers in that three-point column, guys.
Biedrins with him. Gasol covering. Lucas dishes to Rush. And right away, they match it with a three-pointer of their own. Rush has got 5 points in the quarter.
And what I like about him, he needs very little time to get his shot off. If he has just a bit of room, that's all it takes. In a catch-and-shoot situation, he's going to let it fly.
And something else I think of with him is that three-point shot from the corner. I mean, that's his shot. And we've certainly seen him drain a bunch of them.
Of course, the Lakers would eventually pass them up during the final days to snag a playoff spot. But, Steve, as you said, it was just a poor run of games for the Jazz right after the All-Star break that did them in.
Well, it would have been nice for this young core to gain some valuable playoff experience, but they did pick up a couple of first-round draft picks. They continue to add talent to this deep roster, and I would think it's just a matter of time before they're back in the playoffs again.
And it's sent back by Kaman. 5 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Here's Flash. Smooth as silk on the finger roll.
Well, this is going to seal the deal. They've really exploded here to the finish line.
You know, once they sniffed out that blood in the water, the killer instinct came right out.
Well, they've done a great job keeping the fans out of the game today, and the closer they get to the win, the quieter it gets.
Yeah, we call that the sweet sounds of silence. They're going to savor this win, as well they should. Every road win carries a little extra reward.
And the official signaled the backcourt violation. Not very careful there.
He's not doing them any favors making those kinds of mistakes.
Especially now. I mean, every possession's so important for him.
For three, gets it to go.
And another three-pointer to their second half total.
Yeah, they caught that long-range bug at halftime, and it's been bombs away ever since.
And so it's the Lakers taking care of business here. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night, and these guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dreamlike games for a coach.
We thank you for tuning into this first game of the new NBA season. So for Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, and the rest of our 2K Sports team, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. But first...
We on? Alright. 1, 2, 3, go!
Waking up in a dream, sleepwalking on another big stage. You never heard peace till you hear people scream your name in unison. I'm so far away from the place I used to be, struggling usually. Look at the new me, fate pursuing me. I can feel the energy in the air. It feel like I'm supposed to be here.
Everywhere I